Hi, everybody. Sherry Leopold here. And wow, am I excited about my next 2023 Wow Warrior. Sonia Molina, welcome to the Wow Warrior platform. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel so honored and so grateful that you invited me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I want to first say congratulations on being a 2023 Wow Warrior, Woman of Worth Warrior. I think the absolute title fits you to a T. And we actually were introduced by a mutual friend. And I think we're like soul sisters now.
Yes, yes. We are connected at the hip now. Definitely.
Yes, absolutely. And so anyway, I'm just really excited to have you here. And I'm gonna just jump right in and start asking you a few of these amazing questions that we have for our Wow Warriors. So I want to ask you, Sonia, what does it mean to you to be a woman of worth, a Wow Warrior?
Wow. For me, that is like something that's so huge for me because as a little girl, I never felt my parents would tell me I was important, I was beautiful, I was, all these things. But society told me that I was ugly, that they would make fun of me. Growing up, I just didn't have a good childhood. And so from gone to that to the woman that I am today, it has taken so much strength. It has taken so much belief in myself and the growth of seeing that where I was to where I am now and the journey. It's just like so empowering for me because if I could feel this way now, how many other people felt like that and still feel that way as an adult? And so being, how I feel how I am today, it's been a long journey, but one that I would never change for the world. So.
Oh, and that just shows your heart. And I do know because I know you have a heart for other women who are in that circumstance. And we're going to circle back around to that a little bit later. But I want to ask you, I know you said you kind of had some bumps along the road as you were a younger woman. So can you share with us a little bit about the women who maybe guided you, who were powerful female influences for you?
Yeah. So, first of all, I started with my mother. My mother was a stay-at-home mother. She, was from Mexico. She didn't know any English coming here to the United States. And I was the fifth child of, was the runt of the family. And so I got to see her, nurture and become, we came from humble beginnings. I probably wore the same pants 2 or 3 times a week. But let me just tell you, my mother made sure that they were clean and pressed. And so, it was just watching her habits, watching her integrity, watching her strength, making sure there was food on the table, making sure that we were taken care of, making sure that we were, when we were sick, she was always there, making sure that we would get better. So her strength and her integrity, she never even got her driver's license. So I was just like thinking back now, I'm like, wow, how did my mother endure that? But she never complained. She was so strong. She was just so beautiful, not even just physically, but her heart. And so she was probably my first role model, from the home. And then outside, just various women in business that were my mentors, being in the direct sales, multi-level marketing industry for 25 years now. I've had some amazing mentors along the way that just taught me how to be a businesswoman, how to be strong in the marketplace, how to hold yourself and your posture in the marketplace so that you can be an example for other women who are doing or want to do what you're doing. So.
Yeah, and same. And I always love that we have that in common. We've been in the same industry for almost the exact same amount of time. Shining stars.
Oh,
So I want to ask you next a little bit. You mentioned the industry that you've worked in for many years, and I know you wear many hats and you have lots of skills and talents. So I wanted you to share with our viewers a little bit about who Sonia Molina is and the different ways that you serve.
oh, wow. Okay, so who is Sonia Molina? So if someone were to ask me, like yourself, who's Sonia Molina? That's kind of hard because without, I mean, it's like, okay, Sonia, how do you stay humble in this? It's just me being real. I think for me, there's so many people that we live in a copy and paste society. And so I always try to tell my audience and the girls that I lead, be yourself. There is nobody else that can be you. And so, who is Sonia Molina? She is a woman of integrity. She's a woman of honor. She's a woman that is humble. She's a woman that is strong. She is a woman that is not afraid to take risk. She is not afraid to fail because she knows she will get back up. She's a woman that leads people that and with belief that maybe somebody hasn't shown them that they could believe and achieve something. So Sonia Molina is the person that is going to show the example of what's possible because she's been at the bottom of the bottom all the way to the top, back to the bottom, then the middle to the top, and so resilient that she never gives up no matter what place she is in her life. So that's Sonia Molina.
Oh, I love that. So you mentioned leading your team. Can you share a little bit about what that looks like? Because you can share your company or whatever you're doing with that. And I do want to have you share a little bit. I know you're also a John Maxwell coach, so I want you to talk a little bit about that as well, if you would.
Okay, for sure. So, how I started in direct sales, and I think this is super important, is that I was in the dental field for about 15 years, and I loved that career. It was a way of me serving, the patients. It was a way of giving back. I just loved my job until I got sick. And I realized that once I got sick, that my boss no longer had returned the loyalty that I gave him. So once I got sick, I was disposable. And so it made me realize that here I was now dealing with an illness, which was, according to Stanford, multiple sclerosis, to quitting my job, not having a source of income, having two small children, two little boys, and we went from two incomes to one income and saying, what am I going to do now? So the only way that I was going to make income was back in the day going through the want ads and saying, oh, a home direct sales company, make your own hours, check. I could do this. So I signed up with my very first direct sales company. It was a home decor company. And I said, wow, this is scary. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need to do this. I need to make this work. So I would go to my parties and I would sit in a chair because my legs were so weak and I would demonstrate these products. And pretty soon I went from knowing nothing with my, with spaghetti legs in a chair to the top of that company. And it was because I had to make it work. My whys were so important. And I wasn't going to let my boss, who basically kind of threw me to the side, to now having to make this work and be the example for not just my children, but other women who may have felt this way, where they didn't feel like they had worth. And so in that 25 years now, since that company, I've been the top of the company of every company I've been in because I know what it feels like not to feel important. So as a leader, leading thousands of women throughout my years, sponsoring thousands of women and leading women, I want to make sure that everybody is important. Everybody is important. And so that's one thing as a leader, that's my number one thing, the belief and and showing them that they are important and that they could achieve anything that they want in life. So
Whew, This is the moment where I say, I always often say, some people say, "Wow, what do you have to do to be a wow warrior?" I'm like, listen, a wow warrior is a woman that walks in the room and literally all you can do is say, wow. And
Oh,
you just did that. Drop
oh,
the mic.
thank you.
Amazing. So, and it's not a surprise that you've had the success that you've had, Sonia, just based on what you just said. Will also say your heart is showing, which is
Thank
perfectly fine. So I do want to ask you something a little bit related to what you just shared. And I know that the John Maxwell coaching that you've been through has been instrumental in that success as well as your personal development. So, and this may tie in also to my next question. I'd want to ask you if a woman you were talking to was struggling with her worth, what advice or what encouragement would you give her to help her through that struggle?
Okay, so this is a perfect and timely question because um, as a coach, you need a coach. And one of my coaches had said, Sonia, if you were on a plane, I want you to imagine this. If you were on a plane and you were in coach and the stewardess came to you and said, hey, guess what? We just upgraded you to first class. And you're sitting there. It's been a long day. You've been traveling for, all morning, all night. And then the next, you're in a plane for 6 hours. You put your headsets on and you're upgraded to the first class and there's an empty seat. And all you're thinking about is like, please don't let a chatty catty sit next to me. But so what happens? Chatty catty sits next to you and you don't want to talk. You don't want to look at her. You don't want to make conversation. But here she is talking to you and you're making minimal conversation until she strikes a chord with you and she says something that speaks directly to your heart. Then all of a sudden the situation changes. And she said, how do I feel important? How do I get from point A to point B? I feel stuck. I don't feel like I'm worthy enough, smart enough, pretty enough. And that's when my radar comes on, and that's where my heart bursts open. And this is why I do what I do. And I tell her, let me just share a story with you. For many years, I was you. For many years, I didn't feel validated. For many years, I didn't feel smart enough, pretty enough, strong enough, and whatever. But let me just tell you, I wasted so many years on the other people's opinion of me, and I let them value my worth. So let me tell you, whoever it is that I'm speaking with, to the lady that is hypothetically next to me, you can achieve anything that you put your mind to. Don't care about the other people's opinion because it will hold you in bondage from achieving your dreams for whatever you want to achieve. It is time that time is a lie. There is no such thing as you have time. There are no guarantees for tomorrow. So when you have this urgency to write the book, to start the business, to do whatever it is, the time is now. There's no waiting. It's your time and the world needs you. So there's my answer.
Woo! Yes, great, sister. I'm just like it just was resonating with me so highly, Sonia. I was like, stand up and stand out as that
Yes.
unrepeatable miracle. And that's the phrase that I always use. And that is so indicative of a woman of worth. And you're just showing that over and over that this is truly who you are, is a wow warrior. So yay. Okay, so now I want to ask you one more question, and that question is: 100 years from now, Sonia, when your earthly body is no longer here, what are people going to say when they hear the words Sonia Molina? What are they going to think, and what is that legacy that I know you're intentionally leaving?
Whoa. Okay. So they say at the cemetery is the richest place on earth. And why do they say that? Because it is where The books that were unwritten were never written. They were about the dreams that never, were dreamt, never were achieved. And those riches were never transpired. And so when somebody is looking at my tombstone, I want them to say, she is the one that believed in me. She is the one that gave me the courage, because she had the courage to do the things that I always wanted to do. And she set the example from humble beginnings to what she is now. She may not have lived in a mansion. She may not have had the fancy cars, but she always made me feel like I was important and that I could achieve anything. And she was the example of that person. So I hope that my legacy is the one that brings that faith that if Sonia can do it, I could do it. So
That is beautiful and very beautifully stated, I might add. I'm certain that you've inspired more than a few people, Sonia. Can you share how people can get connected with you?
sure. So on Facebook and Instagram, I am Sonia Molina, Sonia Leon Molina. And so you can find me on my website. It's soniamolina.net. Message me, direct message me, friend request me. I would love to be connected.
Well, thank you so much, Sonia, for being here. I am truly honored to call you friend, and I believe this award is very aptly yours. I want to say congratulations again on being a 2023 Wow Warrior, a Woman of Worth Warrior, and I want to welcome you to the Wow Warrior community.
Oh, thank you. And I feel so honored. Thank you, Sherry, for all that you do for so many. And I so appreciate you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.